right, here we go. Welcome, my brothers that are out there. Welcome to Real Talk, Real Truth with the V. It is amazing how when God told me that what was going to happen, He didn't tell me when. So the day when I went to service that day, I saw my wife now. I saw her in the classroom, and she was doing. She would teach classes, and I just so happened to stop by there. Now, how I knew her is that both of us was in the same ministry, but I didn't know her. We would just kind of see each other, and that was it. It was never no conversation, nothing like that. I had never had her phone number, nothing of the sort. Matter of fact, I didn't even look at her like that. I didn't even. She wasn't attracted to me. I wasn't attracted to her, but I never looked at it. Some of you brothers understand what I'm saying. So I remember passing by her class, and I stopped and backed up and said, "Hey, sis, what's going on? How you doing? What you doing?" She said, "Nothing. I'm just here waiting on my class." I said, "Okay." I said, "Are you going to the 2030?" And at that time, we was doing the 2030. It was a celebration between the pastor and his wife. They had 20 years of marriage, no, 30 years of marriage and 20 years of ministry. But I think it was like 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away, something like that. And so I remember her saying, I asked her a question. I said, "Well, who you going to? What are you going to the 23rd?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, who you going with?" She said, "Me, myself, and I." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "All right. Well, okay. You be blessed." And that was it. And I just walked off. Now again, there was no interest there at all. No interest there from my part, and I knew it wasn't no interest there on her part. All right. And I remember going to the sanctuary, going to my spot where I normally sit down, waiting on the praise and worship to start up. It did. Everything went flowing, boom, boom, boom. The next thing you know, the speaker got up and speak. And the topic of his message was, maybe you just need a Dorothy. That was the topic of his message. Maybe you just need a Dorothy. And he said, a lot of you think that y'all can do this on your own, but you can't do this on your own. So I remember saying something about, "Help me, Lord." I remember saying that in the midst of him speaking. I was saying it to myself, but there's a young lady behind me who's another sister of mine. She heard me. She heard me say that. And to this day, if you was to ask her, she said, "Yeah, I heard Vito say that. Help me, Lord." And I was like, "Help me, Lord." And as he was speaking, the Lord told me that Marshall was my Dorothy. And at first, I didn't want to hear that because there's a whole nother story on that right there. I didn't want to hear that. And he was talking about the Dorothy of the Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and it was the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion, right? And how each and every one of them were liking something on the inside of them, and Dorothy was the only one that can help them get there, right? So when I heard that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" So I didn't want to believe it, but I was still like shocked. And at the same time, I was like, "Oh my goodness, okay." So then I started thinking like, "Okay, God, what do I need to do?" Because I've never talked with her before, and I don't even know how to speak to her, And you got to remember now, God told me every woman that I chose in my life, I chose him and not him. So you got to remember there was some fear there. There was some fear there because I was afraid because I didn't know what to do and I didn't know what I needed to do. So after the service was over with, I stood in the line to go get my ticket because I checked my account and I finally got paid because at first I didn't have no money because I didn't know if I was going to get paid or not. But I got my ticket. I stood in line, got my ticket. And as I'm getting my ticket, I'm still thinking about what I just heard. What in the world just happened? So after I got my ticket, I went to the car. And when I went to the car, I just sat in my car for a little bit. And I said, "Okay, God, if this you, I need to speak to a friend of mine." Now, let me share this with you. This friend that I'm talking about, he was in love with my Marshall. And he used to come and tell me about Marshall. This is when I was still married. And him and I worked together. He used to go to that church, to the church where we both were at the time, but he was there before me. But he used to go there. And matter of fact, his ex-wife was the one that brought him to that church. And then she left And then he stayed there. But he was the one that used to come and tell me all the time about this lady that God, he liked this lady so much. And he used to call her he used to call her by her last name. And I was like, okay. But I wasn't thinking about, who she was at the time because I didn't even know her. Again, I wasn't there at that church. I wasn't even in a church. Matter of fact, I was going to another church at the time, but I was still married. Okay. But I hadn't went through my process. I hadn't went through my divorce yet with my first wife. And what happened is that I think it was in the middle, maybe 2003, when he used to always come and tell me about this girl, right? And he told me what she did and all of this and that. So he was very into her. He was very into her. He liked her a lot. Okay. So I would let him know, like, well, bro, you want to make sure you pray and ask God to show you if this is her or not. This is some of the things of what I would tell him. But I wouldn't tell him all the time. It would just be every now and then we would talk, and I would just kind of share that with him. So it got to the point where, he had started to tell me more and more about her and all of that. And then he started getting advice from the elders, and the elders would tell him, go send her this, send her that, on Valentine's Day, this and that, when it was, because she was a teacher. She was a teacher at the ministry. So he would go and tell her, he would go and try to make himself be seen by her. He would tell me because he would go and clean up at nighttime. And I used to ask him, like, man, why you go over there and clean up? And he told me, because I want to go, because I may run into so-and-so, so-and-so. And I'll be like, oh, okay. So fast forward, me in the parking lot, that's the first person I think about is him. Because God is telling me, this woman is my wife. And the crazy part about it is that this is the same woman that he used to like a lot. But let me go back. She found out that he liked her. This is way back. This is before this situation happened. So when he would come and tell me stuff and tell me about her, I forgot to tell you guys this part, is that he would do stuff. So it got to the point where she found out that he liked her, and she had to go to God. This is how the way she told me. She had to go to God and confront God and ask God to deal with her on how to explain to him that God did not deal with her the same way that he feels about her. So God showed her what to do and showed her that she needed to write a letter to him. And in that letter, she explained to him how she's very flattered about how he's very interested in her. But unfortunately, God did not deal with her about her. God didn't deal with her about him. And she wanted him to understand that God has someone else for him out there, but it's not her. And I remember him coming back. He came back He came back to work Monday, and he was like, Reb, she let me down, boy. She let me down. I was like, what? And he said, yeah, man, she let me down easy, boy. She let me down easy. And what he was talking about, what he was referring to is that how she let him down. Like, how somebody, like you on a building with somebody and they got a rope and they just kind of let you down. And when they let you down, I don't think his feelings was hurt. I think he was more relieved than anything from what he was telling me, because now he feels like that, okay, he knows that that's not God, and he knows that he don't need to try to pursue that anymore. So when he would tell me that, I was like, well, thank God, man. At least she was able to tell you. He said, yeah, I respect her even more now. That makes me respect her even more now, because I know that she doesn't like me like that. And I know that, that's not God putting that in her heart. So fast forward, here go God dealing with me on June the 14th, 2008. Now, this happened around about in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Early part of 2003, when he was basically, trying to pursue her, and he liked her. But she didn't see the same thing about him as he saw to her. And so fast forward, now you can understand how it was very difficult for me to accept this, because now I have to ask him and talk to him about what God has dealt with me. So I had to tell him, you know, but this is how it happened. So when I got in the car with my ticket, right? I had a ticket that I remember I told you I purchased for the 20 and 30. I was going to go to the 20 and 30 because we always going to go together. Me and the brothers, we were going to go together. And I can remember when I was sitting in the car, I was like, okay, God. And the first person came into my mind was him. So I had to kind of like, okay, God, I need to really talk with him. And so I had to really, God, if this is you, I need for you to tell me where he's at because I don't know where he's at. And so I heard the voice of the Lord say he's in a certain building. He's doing something in that building. So I went in there and there he was. He was doing something in the building. I said, bro, I need to talk with you. So he's like, yeah, sure, Red, what up? What's up? So I come outside with him and I told him what was going on. And then I asked him, I said, well, listen, I need to find out, do you still have feelings for Marshall? He was like, nah, Red, I told you, man, that was finished. That's done and over with, Reb. I mean, I have no, Reb, there's no feelings there. Why? What's going on? I said, because I believe God is telling me that she's my wife. And he said, okay, Reb, run with it. If you believe that's God, go ahead. I said, I just want to make sure that you still have no feelings because if you still have feelings for her, then he was like, nah, Reb, nah. So we embrace each other. And I said, what you finna go back in? He said, yeah, I'm gonna go back in. I said, all right. I said, go ahead, bro. I'm gonna go into the car right quick. Like he said, all right. So then that was my first time. That was my first fleece. My second fleece is that I needed to get in contact with Marshall. I didn't know how to get in contact with her because I didn't have a phone number. So I sat in the car. I said, okay, God, if this is you, I need to get in contact with her. Because remember, my main objective is that I need to talk to her because I need to ask her the question. What do you see in me? That was my whole motive. I need to ask her the question. God, if this is you, then she gonna say that. She gonna say exactly what you said. I don't care if I look like a fool or not. If she don't say it, then okay, God, then this was not you. But that happened with me and my friend. You see what I'm saying? So that alone itself gave me more the encouragement. Okay. So God, I need to get in touch with her. So I don't know how to get in touch with her. So I heard God say, go in the sanctuary. Elder so-and-so is sitting down. I went in the sanctuary. I got out the car, walked right back in the sanctuary again. Bam, there go Elder so-and-so. He's sitting down where God told me that he was going to be sitting down. And I went over there. I said, Elder so-and-so. I said, I need to ask you about Marshall. He said, sure, go ahead, Vito. I said, tell me about her. He said, well, you know, she's straightforward. She's very bold. If you can't handle it. I said, okay. I said, but I need to get in contact with her. He said, okay, I can give you a number. I was like, okay. I said, you sure she won't mind? He said, no, I don't think she'll mind. He gave me her number. I said, I appreciate it, Elder. He said, no problem. Walked out, got back in my car, and just sat there with the number in my hand. I was like, okay. So I fleeced God again. I said, okay, now that's the second time that I said, God, if this is you, then I need for this to happen. And sure enough, it did. I got her number. It doesn't matter how I got it. I got the number. Why? Because I need to ask her this question. So here I go. I said, okay, God, if this is you, then let her answer the phone. Doggone it. I dialed the number and doggone it, she answered the phone. I was hoping that she didn't answer the phone right now because at that time, man, I was still afraid. I don't care. I fleeced God twice and God showed up twice. All right. But this is the third time. And, she answered the phone. She said, hello. I said, hey, how you doing? She said, I'm doing fine. Now, she didn't know who I was at the time because her and I never talked on the phone. So she didn't know my voice like that. Now, she heard me talking while we were in the midst of the same ministry, right? But her and I talking on the phone, I didn't think she going to catch my voice anyway. So I asked her how she was doing. She said, I'm doing fine, as if to, you know, you can hear her like, okay, like, who is this? I said, well, I got your number. I said, do you know who this is? She said, no. I said, okay. I said, well, she said, well, keep talking. She said, you just keep talking. I'll figure it out in a minute. And I'm like, okay, how's she going to figure it out? So as I'm talking, I said, well, I got your number for Elder. And by the time I said that, she said, I know who this is. Because I'm the only one I usually call her sis. A lot of the girls, and I always call them sis. So she said, I know who this is. I said, who this? She said, this Brother Vito. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, this brother Vito, how you doing? I said, I got your number for Elder so-and-so. I hope you don't mind. She said, no, I don't know. I don't mind at all. I said, okay. I said, are you busy? She said, well, I'm getting ready to take my father. She called her father. It was like a role model to her. I'm taking him to the movies to see the movie Hulk. So I said, okay. I said, well, before you go, I said, I need to ask you a question. She said, okay. I said, were you ever interested in me? And she said, well, I was, but that's dead. I said, dead? She said, yeah. She said, that's dead. I said, oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you were interested in me, but that's dead. She said, yeah. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, and of course, when she said that, of course, guys, you know how a man is, once that man, he got himself revved up. He's ready to, you know, proclaim or claim what it is he think he's getting ready to claim. And the next thing you know, it doesn't turn out to be what he think it is. And he starts to feel embarrassed. So I'm trying to think of other stuff. Okay, what I need to do to get off this phone. But I did ask her this. I said, so at the time when you were interested in me, I said, what was it that you saw in me? She said, well, God showed me your heart. God showed me that you was faithful. You're very committed. And I said, what was that now? I said, what was the first thing you just said? She said, well, God showed me your heart. I said, oh. Now, when she said that, I caught it immediately. Everything else she said, I was like, okay, yeah, thank you. But that one thing she said, the first thing she said out of her mouth was, God showed me your heart. And from there, I said, okay. And when she did it, I got so excited. She don't know on the other end, but I was like, yes, Lord, yes, God, this is you. This is you. And so I put the phone back up to my ear. I said, can I said, okay. I said, listen, well, I want to talk to you some more if you don't mind. I said, I know you going in there. We stayed on the phone for a little bit. I mean, before she went in there to take her father, her I don't call it a mentor. It was like, he was like a father to her, per se. But, they were waiting on her to take him in because she was taking him to the movies for Father's Day. So I asked, I said, well, is there any possible way that you can call me when you finish? And she said, yeah, I can call you when I finish. And then from there, when we got off the phone and said bye, I was just so excited. I just went straight home. I went straight to my apartment, just sat there and was like, wow, God, this is you. And waited for her to get finished what she was doing and just waited for her to call me. And she called me, and y'all, we stayed on the phone all night. We talked. And I didn't reveal to her what happened because it wasn't time for that. We were just basically talking. And that's how that happened when you're talking about God connecting and confirming what he's going to do and what he has already initiated to be done. Brothers, I'm telling you, God will do it, and he will do it in a special way, but he will choose you for that. All right. Man, I got so much more to talk about. I got so much more to share with you. I got so much more to speak about and enlighten and give a better understanding about certain things of what a lot of men don't know. So that this video was about how God initiates, how God connects, and how it's important for men to understand, to acknowledge that they are walking in pride and that they need to learn how to humble themselves and allow God to choose them for the assignment instead of them trying to choose the assignment or trying to choose the mate for themselves and want God to endorse it based on what they chose. This is what this video is about. It's about my testimony. It's about, it's okay to admit that you are that you don't know what you're doing. It's okay to confess that, God, you need help. It's okay to confess and cry out to God and get tired of making the same mistakes over and over and over again. It's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable with God, because God is not going to hurt you. Okay, God just wants the best for you. He loves you and he has the best for you. But you got to be willing to trust him. This video is about trusting in God when you are so used to doing things on your own and you've been doing it for a long time and you're tired of doing it your way. Your way has not been working at all, and you just really want God to be the one, and you just tired. You want God to be the one to orchestrate what he wants to orchestrate in your life, and you're not afraid. You trust God. And that's where I had to get to that point. I had to get to that point to trust God to choose the mate for me. That's what it's all about. In a nutshell, trusting God for who he has for you. All right. And it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be well worth it if you just take the initiative to step out and believe and have faith that God will be the one to choose the right one for you. But God has to be the one to choose you for it in order for you to believe and have that confidence that he's going to choose the right one for you. Okay, so this is what this video is about. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this thing has blessed you. Hit that like button if you can. Subscribe to it if you can, my brothers. Share it with another brother. And I will see you at another time. And we're going to talk some more. All right? Here we're talking about real talk, real truth with Lovey. Peace out.